Thank you so much for coming. This is the 9th and final session of our series. And I just want to share that I am so appreciative of everyone showing up every week. And it's been a wonderful series with great attendance. And yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're really happy to be here, and we're so proud of what this series turned out to be. Today we have a resource panel. So we have 3 representatives here, someone from Elder Services of Worcester, St. Paul's Elder Outreach, and the Center for Living and Working. And followed, we'll have lunch and entertainment by Matt York. And we're going to get started with Tina this morning. You want to hold it?
Thank you. So my name is Tina Forget. I'm one of the floating case managers at Elder Services of Worcester, and I'm here to talk about our services in relation to fall prevention. So the state of Massachusetts is broken down into 24 different areas. Each one of those areas is assigned what they call an ASAP, or an Aging Service Access Point. And for Worcester and the 14 surrounding communities, Elder Services of Worcester is that ASAP. So Elder Services' mission is to provide eligible individuals with a range of services which will enhance their quality of life and allow them to live as independently as possible in dignity and respect. Any services which can further these ends may be provided directly, by contract, or by referrals. So services we do provide, we have case management, we have clinical assessment and eligibility, options counseling, geriatric support service coordinator for the senior care options and the One Care. We have the family caregiver support program, elder protective services, supportive and congregate housing, elder nutrition, money management program, SHINE, which stands for Serving the Health Insurance Needs of Elders, and the the Personal Care Attendant Program, which you probably have heard referred to as the PCA. So the State Home Care Program is a state-funded program designed to promote independent life at home for frail elders, preventing and postponing the need for institutional care. Home Care Program uses an expert professional team of case managers and nurses to coordinate service plans for frail persons 60 years of age or older. So there is a couple eligibility criteria for the home care program. So a person would need to be over the age of 60. There is the exception for someone who's under 60 who would have a diagnosis of dementia or related dementia, Alzheimer's or related dementia. You must live in the service area for that local ASAP. So for elder services, again, that would be Worcester and the 14 surrounding communities. If anyone here today lives outside that area, at the end of my presentation, there is the Elder Services phone number. You can always call our information referral department, and they can refer you to the appropriate home care or ASAP. They must meet a frailty guideline, which in the next slide, I'll be going over that a little bit more. And there is also an income criteria. There's no income limit to be a client of Elder Services, but there's a sliding scale fee according to someone's income. So I mentioned that frailty level. So we will look at 17 different daily living tasks. We will look at bathing, dressing, someone's ability to feed themselves, various aspects of someone's mobility. How does someone transfer? How do they get around inside their home? How do they get around out in the community? Are they able to use the bathroom, manage their own care there? We look at meal prep, housework, laundry, shopping, medication management, someone's ability to manage their own finances, and be able to use the telephone and transportation. So someone would need a certain combination of needs in these areas to be eligible. So if someone was interested in finding out more about services and if they're eligible, they themselves can call Elder Services. The referral does not need to come from a healthcare professional, doesn't need to come from a doctor or a nurse practitioner. You can call Elder Services yourself, and you will speak with one of our information referral specialists, and they'll take that intake assessment. Once that intake assessment is taken, it will then be assigned to a case manager who will come out and do an on-site assessment. So that assessment will include multiple things. I did mention that there's a sliding scale fee according to somebody's income, so they will need to review your income with you, and they'll review the elder's function. They'll look at health, mental, cognitive status, medical conditions, medications, looking at someone's informal and formal supports. And with looking at all that, they'll look at trying to identify any unmet needs. And based off that assessment, they'll look at what services through Elder Services could help meet those unmet needs, but also we look at what community resources are available and help connect people with those resources to help meet their needs. So I've bolded, these are all the services we provide, but I've bolded the ones that I felt dealt most with fall prevention. So we have personal care assistants that can help with those hands-on care needs, bathing, dressing, toileting, transferring. Then we have homemakers and also supportive home care aides that can help with more of the household tasks. They can help with things like meal preparation, housework, laundry, shopping. So if people were struggling with that, we have those services to help with those tasks around the house. We have home care services. So out of the nursing, occupational, physical therapy, and speech therapy, I would say the most, what I see us covering is nursing. We do some med pre-fills for people that are having trouble managing their meds, that they could benefit from a nurse coming in and pre-filling their med planner. We have adult day programs. So these are programs that have a medical and social component. They do have some social activities, but they're also medical staff on hand. There's nurses and aides that can help out with medication management or like personal care needs that could arise during the day. Some of the programs are able to provide physical therapy with a doctor's order on site. The Meals on Wheels, which we have the hot meal. We also have the supper bag and the frozen meals that get delivered Monday through Friday. Along with the Meals on Wheels, they also have nutrition sites throughout our service area. There's one here at the Worcester Senior Center. We have the personal emergency response system. Those are the buttons you might see people wear. They have a pendant around their neck or on their wrist. And if they were to fall, need help in an emergency situation, at a press of a button would be connected with a call center. We have multiple different units. We have units that work off people's landline system, also that would just work in their home. We also have ones for people who don't have landlines, because that's getting to be more and more common that people don't have them anymore. So we have ones that work off the cellular system, and we have ones that are fall detected, that if someone was to fall, they wouldn't even have to press the button. The unit would detect that they fell and automatically call the call center. Those all just work in your home. We also have the personal emergency response button that works out in the community that has a GPS component to it. So if you were at the grocery store and were out in the parking lot and needed help, you'd be able to press the button and be able to get connected with the call center. There's also the medication dispensing system. So it is a locked unit that would be pre-filled, and it would be programmed to go off at the scheduled time. So say, for example, someone needed to take their medication 3 times a day at 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 8 p.m. The machine would give an auditory cue, would say time to take your medication at those pre-scheduled times. If the person didn't take their medication, then the call center would notify an emergency contact to let them know that that dose was missed. And then we also have the adaptive housing and assistive technology. So Elder Services potentially could look at providing durable medical equipment in the home for somebody. We always would look at other resources. Is a piece of equipment covered by someone's insurance, Or is there another community resource that we could access to be able to get this item for the person? But if not, Elder Services potentially could buy like a tub seat for someone, to increase someone's safety getting in and out of the shower, a tub seat, a grab bar, a handheld shower, maybe a shower mat. We could look at if does someone need a raised toilet seat or a commode. We've also installed grab bars. I've had clients who had multi-level homes, meaning maybe they have a step up or down to get into their kitchen or living room. We've installed grab bars there to help them get in. We might look at stairs where someone doesn't have railings or don't have railings on both sides of stairs if they need to access the basement or a second floor. Look at the safety of entrance of someone's home. Does someone maybe have a broken stair outside that is potential fall risk? We could look at having elder home repair through Central Mass Housing Alliance go out to do some of those repairs. I wasn't sure how much time I was going to have to talk. I think I still have a few more minutes, so I didn't put slides up for this, but I want to go over a few other things. So we have nurses on staff. So our nurses will go out and do an assessment after the case manager does an assessment. They go out to do the assessment for personal care needs. They could also, that durable medical equipment I spoke about, the tub seats, the grab bars, they could do an assessment to assess somebody for those needs. They do the assessment for the medication pre-fills, and they also could do an assessment to see if physical therapy not covered by insurance would be something that would be beneficial for the person. I mentioned the PCA program, the personal care attendant program. That's for people of any age. There's no age limit on that. Someone just needs to be either on standard Mass Health or Common Health. And this is a self-directed program. We have skills trainers that would work with the consumer to help learn how to run the program, and that person would be responsible for hiring their own workers, firing their own workers, and managing their own care. So instead of having an outside agency come in and provide the service, the worker becomes their own little small business and hires their own workers themselves. And the skills trainers provide a lot of support through that process for the first year, and then as people become more independent with that, their support would decrease, but they still do routine home visits throughout the year. And one last thing is options counseling. If someone just has a need to look at exactly what it says, what their options are, an options counselor could come out and meet with you. They could look at, is it a public benefit that you might benefit from? Is it another community resource? They just help look at connecting people to resources or public benefits they could benefit from. And they can kind of stay in for a while and provide some support guiding you through that process in case you have questions that arise along the way.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. I'm Meg Coffin. I'm CEO at Center for Living and Working. We are one of 10 independent living centers in the state of Massachusetts. So I'm going to talk about the services that we provide. I'm just going to start with a little video that explains what we do. So as an independent living center, we work with individuals with disabilities across all disabilities of any age. People can come to us on their own, a family member can call us, a physician can call us, and we have a number of programs that would be beneficial to folks. We have been around since 1975, but people really don't know about us often. We are located right in downtown Worcester. And so the goal of independent living is to ensure that anyone who has a disability and wants to remain living independently in the community can access the supports and services they need to continue doing that. Over 50% of our staff and 50% of our board are individuals living with disabilities. So some of the people in the video you saw were either board members or staff members. Some were some of our consumers, which is what we call our clients. So when you're working with someone or going to them for information, it's someone who has a lived experience, whether it's for a housing search or benefits or things like that. It may not be the same disability, but it's someone who has really navigated that path already on their own. Our mission, again, as I said, is really to empower people to live independently, either through the services we provide or through referrals to other agencies that can provide them. And we want to make sure that people with disabilities are equal members of society. So we take our direction from our consumers. When someone comes to us, they will come to us with their goals. We want them to tell us what they want. They need a housing search. They need some accessible equipment. They need some adaptation either to a motor vehicle or to their home. They may need help with benefits, or they may need help completing their Mass Health application. So they will come to us with what their goals are, and we will work with them to achieve all of those goals. We want to advocate both with the people, both for them to be able to advocate for themselves, and also for systemic changes. So we will do a lot of advocacy for policy changes that will help people with individuals continue living independently. And then we want to provide the comprehensive and innovative programs to really be able to serve any individual who comes to us. Our goal is really anyone should always be an equal member of society, no matter where you are in your life, and no matter whether you have a disability or not, you should be treated equally. And we really create an agency where we promote independence. There we go. All right, so we have a Facebook page, we have Instagram page. People walk in, our office is open. We're at 18 Chestnut Street. We had been in the Denholmes building for many, many years, but as you've all been reading in the newspaper, the Denholmes building has pretty much closed now, but we moved right up the street to the old Unum building, the old Paul Revere Insurance Company on 18 Chestnut Street. That's been totally gutted and renovated. So we're now located there, and we're open 5 days a week. So people can just walk in. They don't need to call. They can come in, and we always have staff there to talk to them about whatever their needs or services are that they want. Anyone can come to us. The person with a disability can come to us, a family member can come to us, their physician may call, or their insurance company may call. If they can call, you can walk in. You can, on our website, we have an online referral form, so you could go to our website and click out an online referral form that would go right to our intake person, and she would assign it to a staff member who would contact you. All right. We serve pretty much all of central Massachusetts. However, we do have 2 programs that go outside of Worcester County. Our deaf and hard of hearing program goes as far west as Springfield, as far north as Lowell, and our personal care management program, which is the exact same program that Elder Services has, also goes a little bit into Metro West and a little bit out past Worcester to the west, because the other agencies will pick them up at those areas. But for the most part, we really pretty much are Worcester County. So the departments we have, and this is pretty small. But our personal care management department, which is the exact same, it's a state program as elder services. We have consumers from infants all the way up to no age limit. For that program, it does need to be a permanent disability. There are other programs that Elder Services has if someone had a temporary, like the broken leg you were talking about. But for the personal care management, that has to be a permanent disability where you're on Mass Health, either standard or common health, and would need assistance with 2 or more activities of daily living and bathing, dressing, things like that. The nurse would go in and assess what you would need, assess how many hours you would need, and then the skills trainers, the same as Elder Services, would come in and kind of teach you how do you hire an aide, where can you look for an aide. Many folks have family members who can be a personal care attendant for them. An adult child could be a personal care attendant for a parent. A sibling could be a caregiver for another sibling. A parent cannot be a personal care attendant for a minor child, and a spouse cannot be a paid personal care attendant for their spouse. We're actively advocating to change some of those, particularly with the workforce crisis. So we are actively working at the state level to try to make some changes to some of those, but it takes a while. Our independent living program, which really is the core of all 10 independent living centers that serve the state, there are the 5 core services for that program are advocacy, teaching individuals to advocate for themselves if they need accommodations at work or accommodations at school or within housing if they need some type of accommodation or accessible or adaptation. And then, like I said, systemic advocacy. Transition, we work with folks and help them transition out of nursing facilities. So if people are in a nursing facility and fall under one of the state waiver programs, we will work with them, and we have funds that can help them get back out into the community. We have funds that can help furnish an apartment if they didn't have one, to help clear up if they had some unpaid bills from a prior apartment, to clean up their past to make them eligible for housing, help them fill out the applications and stay with them through the whole process until they're actually set up in their home. We do vocational rehabilitation. So if someone wants to go back into the workforce, the Mass Rehab Commission will refer people to us, and we will work on the wraparound services they may need, because maybe they have a job but they need help getting transportation to the job, or they need some financial literacy training so they can budget when they get a job, or they need to know if they're on benefits, how employment would impact any of their benefits. Title VII Part B, those are funds the state provides to provide assistive technology to folks. So if they needed a hearing aid or they needed some type of adaptive equipment that was not covered by any insurances, we could apply for those funds and get adaptive equipment for folks through that, or adaptive equipment for your house. The ADRC program is Central Mass. We are part of that with Elder Services, and that's the options counseling that you heard about, and that really is, you could call either agency and talk to an options counselor, and they could just lay out what your options are if you were deciding, do you still want to live independently? Do you need to move into an apartment? And again, a family member can call, the individual can call, and those are funded through the state. And then we also do ADA and access assessments. So usually we will do these for cities and towns or companies, and so we will go in and do an ADA plan for a town if they have a park or a school or a public building they want us to assess. We also have a long-term services and supports program. This is for folks who have both Medicare and Medicaid and have their insurance through either Tufts, CCA, or United Healthcare. And that's probably similar to how the woman was asking about how they got their PCA services. They will call us and they will have, we'll have a person go into their home and talk to them about what they need. Do you need homemaker services? Do you need a PCA? Do you need transportation and work with this person to get them the services they need, and then go back to the insurance company and work with the insurance company to line up services, and the insurance company would pay for that. We do youth services. That's not probably of interest to most of you, but we work with youth 14 to 22 who are in school who have a disability to help them transition out of school, and for pre-employment work with them so they could either go on to college or get a job. And then last, we have our deaf and hard of hearing department, which is the same as our independent living department, but really works with folks who are deaf and hard of hearing. So the 5 core services I already spoke about. We spoke about the ADRC, the nursing home transition, the access. We do have specialized workshops and events that we do throughout the community just to educate folks so that they know what services are available to them. So I can skip all of these because I've already talked about them. Oops, and then one last video.
I'm married. I have a son who's 14. I am a full-time employee. I travel, I own a home, I go to theater, dinner, my son's baseball games. I'm loving life.
Oh, nice! That didn't even happen.
Jake walked around for like a half-hour calling.
There is no charge for any services we provide. We get our funding from the state and federal government, so there is no charges for any of our services. So if you have a need, just call us and we can connect you to the right staff person.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vo. I'm the director of St. Paul's Elder Outreach. It's good to see so many people. It's good to see so many people here. Is that better? It's good to see so many familiar faces, and I think I've been into some of your homes. St. Paul's Elder Outreach is an agency that services seniors 60 and older. I don't really like that word senior anymore now that I'm over 60, but I'm going to stick with it. You know, it's hard to make those phone calls. But 60 and older in the city of Worcester, we're a non-denominational agency, and as long as you live in the city of Worcester and you're 60 and older, we're happy to assist. We are an information and referral agency that is funded by the city of Worcester. We don't charge anything for our services. We're able to do a lot of things that duplicate services that a lot of other agencies do. We go into the homes. We do a lot of things that the senior center does. The senior center refers us to people to go into the home to do evaluations, or sometimes we can bring medication to people. We can just, we escort people to doctor's appointments. There's a lot of different things that we do in that. I actually appreciate anybody that has these videos and stuff. I'm not one of them, though. I just talk off, and just decide what I'm going to say when I say it. But as it pertains to falls, one of the things that we do is we're a member of the senior support team in the city of Worcester. We get information from people that have called 911. Most of the 911 calls for seniors in the city is related to falls. So we end up calling the people, we call them up and find out how we can help to prevent the next fall, if at all possible. So we'll call you up, make an appointment if you're willing to. We go into the home and we start off there. We start off at your very front door. We'll walk up the stairs and make sure that it's safe for you to get into your house. If it's not, we have referral places that we can go to, that we can get services for you to fix a handrail, to fix a step. Any of these services, we will help with the cost if it costs you anything. When we go in your front door, we walk into your house. We look at scatter rugs. We look at everything that's there. So that's what we call as a home safety assessment. So we'll walk in there and we just kind of eyeball everything that's in your house. We look and make sure that things are safe. Make sure that you're not stacking things high on your shelving. Make sure you're not using step stools. Make sure your bed isn't too high. Make sure you have the proper equipment in your bathroom. Make sure you have handrails. Make sure you have a shower chair. Make sure you have a handheld shower hose. We'll make sure that your dining room table isn't wobbly. We'll make sure that doorways aren't cluttered. We'll make sure that your windows, that you can get to your windows, you can get to your egresses. So as we're doing this assessment, we're also looking at things like I'll have people open up the refrigerator to look in the refrigerator to make sure that they can reach things, make sure things aren't in the bottom shelf that you have to bend over. That would be a risk. We make sure that things aren't done. But when we're looking in the refrigerator, we're also looking to make sure that you have food in your refrigerator. It's amazing how many homes I go into that don't have enough food. If we see that, then we'll talk to you and we'll see, hey, maybe you need some Meals on Wheels, maybe you need a PCA program or a home health agency to come in there and do shopping for you. We can also bring food to you. We are affiliated with a couple of the food pantries. So I have some volunteers, and 3 days a week, at no charge, we'll deliver food boxes to anybody. All you have to do is ask. 16 over, no charge, and we'll deliver food to your apartment, and we'll do that twice a month for you. When we're in the kitchen, we'll look at different things to make sure that you have a working, safe stove. You know, because so many people have equipment that doesn't work. You know, their refrigerators aren't cold enough. That's a risk for a lot of things. We'll go in there and make sure that your stove is working, make sure that the pilots are working okay. We've gone into a few homes to do a falls assessment to find out that somebody had a gas leak in their house. You know, so we're able to call the fire department. So our falls assessments are really looking at everything. You know, we have people that fall out of bed often. They slide out of bed, and that's because they have a bad mattress. The mattress is too high, too low, so we look at that. And maybe we're able to help you get a new mattress. Maybe we're able to help you get a safety rail on your bed. You know, so sometimes we'll call up a doctor and ask them to get a occupational therapy referral or physical therapy referral and work with them. Quite often people have things like, you know, they need a shower chair, they need a walker, they need a wheelchair. And today it's so hard to get that covered under insurance and get that in a timely fashion. We have an endless supply of that type of thing that we're able to bring to you at no charge while you're waiting for the insurance to cover it. So we'll do that. You know, preferably, you know, things like the shower chair is one thing, but if it's a walker, we like to have people have somebody, a nurse or a therapist, go in there and evaluate it for the proper height. But at least we can get it to the door. We can deliver those type of things to you and make sure that you're safe that way. We also look to make sure that if we've helped people that couldn't no longer get upstairs. So we were able to get one of the chair lifts put into their house. It took us a while, but we worked with different agencies to see if we could get that chair lift. And that worked out perfectly. They were able to stay in their home. As we're doing this falls assessment, we're looking there to just make sure that people are not alone, that they're safe in general. You know, they think that they can live on their own, but they're not really safe. People aren't always safe living on their own. You know, we find people that are isolated sometimes, that haven't been out of their homes. You know, so we might work with them and see if we can help them get to a day program. You know, see if maybe we can get neighbors to check on them. We have a woman one time that was having a difficult time taking her trash out. She couldn't get her trash out. You know, it was just impossible for her. Her son used to do it, and he no longer lived with her. So we were able to go on, and I don't do this very often either, but go on Facebook, and we're able to find a neighbor to help this person take their trash out. That eliminated a big fall for this person because she was having a hard time doing that. So our work really is to just go in there and be eyes, you know, be eyes and be a support service for people to find other people, other agencies, and I'll kind of join forces with everybody and work together as a community to see if we can help maintain safety. You know, I could go on all day about falls because I see it all the time and I hear it all the time to people that have, you know, they have animals, they have cats that run in and out of them, you know, in and out of their legs. There's nothing we can do about that, but we can at least try to make sure we move cat bowls and dog bowls out of the way. So it's really a pretty involved assessment that we're able to do, and we're able to go in there. We're able to just, like I said, not to keep repeating myself, but just look at the whole picture and meet people where they're at. Because when you're at your doctor's office and the doctor sees you and you're all dressed to the nines and you're looking all great and you're going there and they think everything's fine. We go into the house and we realize that there's a lot of things that have been neglected. So our goal is to help maintain independence, maintain autonomy, and make sure that people are safe, make sure they're getting the services that they need. I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone into somebody's house and they haven't heard of these other agencies, but we're able to get them in contact with these agencies. We're able to go in there and help fill out applications at your kitchen table. I can go in there with my laptop because a lot of these things that you have to do online now. It's very difficult. I'm just learning that myself because I have no choice. But we're able to help bring a laptop into your home and help you fill out these applications. We can be a runner for you. If you have something that has to be brought down to City Hall, if an application has to be brought down to our RCAP, if an application has to be brought down to, for fuel assistance, we can help fill that out. We can bring it down for you. And we make sure we follow up to make sure that all these services are being met. Make sure all of your needs are being met in that way. We do not do hands-on work. A lot of people say, can I provide a personal care attendant? We don't do that type of thing. We don't provide it, but we are, like I said, we are an information and referral source, so we are able to connect you with services that you might not even know is available. So that's pretty much. I mean, I could go on and on about different things that we do, but I think as far as falls assessment, which I think is the number one thing that we're focusing on right now, one thing I forget to mention is that, it's like people have broken glasses. I've walked into people's homes that have had broken glasses. Well, you need to be able to see in order not to fall sometimes or not to trip. So we can kind of help and advise people and suggest that they go off and they get new glasses. Or their hearing, they haven't had a hearing test. You don't realize how much your hearing is important when it comes to falls. So sight, hearing, just all of those things that are just really important. Nutrition is another huge thing. And that's why I said, when we open the refrigerator, we want to make sure that you have plenty of food in there. Because people are really malnourished these days. Food is expensive. That's why we do the delivering food to people, That's why we can connect you with agencies that will get a homemaker that can go off and shop for you. Medications is a big thing. If we notice that you have medication bottles all over the place, well, something's kind of hinky with that. It's like, I'm not sure that you're really taking your medications. We can advise on that. We can't do anything about it other than advise. Have you call your doctor, see if we can get a nurse in there to do something. The Medi-planners are a great thing. I've gone in there and I've just kind of eyeballed it and I see, today's Wednesday, but how come Friday and Thursday's pills are already gone? So we can talk to you about that. We can just make sure that things are okay. Those are all signs of things might not be as safe in the home as we had once thought. And, so it's good to be able to have people and agencies out there that are willing to all kind of meet together to find ways of keeping people safe and keeping people in their home as long as possible and as long as it's safe to do so. I touched briefly on the senior support team. The senior support team is, people don't even really know of that. Senior support team is a group of the senior center, elder services, the fire department, police department, the city of Worcester, St. Paul's Elder Outreach. And we join forces together and we work together to make sure that people are looked after. If we get somebody that's been on a 911 call 5 times in 2 months, we make sure as a team we all work together and figure out what's going on with that person. I know it's on the city's website, so I think it gives a little bit more information on that. But that's one of it. And like I said, we do the senior center. We get a lot of our referrals from the senior center. What I like to say is that we're the boots on the ground for the senior center. So Linda will call us up and say, you know, can you go and check on this person, or can you go and check on this person? Or this person can't get to the doctors, because how many of you go to the doctors and you have an appointment, but the doctor says, you know, the office says that you need to get a ride home, but you can't take an Uber and you can't take a cab. So, you know, Linda will say to me, you know, do you have somebody that can just get you home? So we'll go pick you up, drive you home. And these are a lot of things that we provide. It's a lot easier if you call me up and just say, hey, Vo, can you come over and tell me everything one-on-one what you do? Because everything that we do doesn't pertain to one in particular person. Everybody has different needs. So you might you might only need one thing, you know, and other people might need 10 things. We also have a telecheck program. The telecheck program is a program that you call into our office every day and just say, I'm okay. If we don't hear from you, we're going to call you back. And if we don't hear from you, we're going to call you back and we're going to make sure you're okay. We'll call back a little later. If we don't, then we'll call an emergency contact person that you provided to us. If we can't get a hold of that person, we'll actually go to your home and do a wellness check and make sure that you're safe. If we can't get in, then we'll call 911. We'll call the police and we'll ask them to do a check for you. So there's a lot of services that we are able to provide. We're an agency that can look outside the box. You know, we don't do anything, the same twice. You know, every person is unique, every person is different, everybody has their own special needs. Some people don't want us in the house. We'll find a way in. We'll find a way, because our goal is to make sure that we get, form a safe relationship with you, whether it's by phone calls at first, but we will try our best to make sure we're able to help you. So that's it in a nutshell.